everybody, thanks for watching. Yeah, just a quick reminder that the flash drive sale is still available and the Never Pay Again membership sale is still available. Got you guys emails to extend this. Put it up for 48 hours. I'm going to extend it for another 48 hours. So make sure you guys take advantage of this sale because we're nearing the end of the site being developed. So it is down right now, Merkabah Academy. We are almost finished it. So thanks to everybody who's been helping us test out the site. But it's going to be a lot on this site. So make sure you guys take advantage now. And, we're doing this because we're at the end. Everything is looking really good. As you can see so far, we've been on a desktop or a laptop. And it's a lot more coming to the site. So thanks for helping us test it out. We'll get into that in a second. Also, if you received the last couple emails on shipping, those of you who received those emails are on a ready to ship list. If you didn't already get your tracking number, you will receive it through the weekend. Or as I said, a lot of these packages have already shipped out. We shipped out a lot. So most of you will probably get your package before you receive the tracking number. It's just because we have a lot to ship. Unless you have a P.O. box, if you have a P.O. box, you will for sure get your tracking number. But most of you guys waiting, it'll just show up in the mail. You'll get it possibly before you get your tracking number. So it's just how it is. There's so much to ship out right now. But we're on it. If you received those last couple emails, you're on a ready to ship list, meaning you will get your package really soon. So appreciate the patience on that. So what Merkabah Academy, a lot of guys helped us test it out. It's been a work in progress for years, as you guys know, but it's looking really good right now. So as you can see so far with the games we have up there, Never Pay Again member section is completely new. It's a lot more coming to that as well. And yeah, I only put up a couple easy quizzes, but it's a lot more coming up as well as major tests. There's also going to be, as I said, the debate section for debates. There's also going to be, tournaments, quiz tournaments. It's going to be like basically tournaments everybody can enter and, answering a certain amount of questions and competing against other people to win prizes and trophies or what have you. That's going to be huge. That's also coming to Merkabah Academy. As you can see with the leaderboard, we're going to stay on that theme as far as, people who are knowledgeable being able to show how much studying and work they put in. And, it's not going to be easy. I'm just telling you guys now, as you can see, but just the two quizzes that's up there. If you watch my videos, then you got everything right. But yeah, it's not going to be easy. I see a lot of people got those questions wrong, but it's a lot. So you can see now, and when you go to your courses, you can look at the point system. You'll see the courses that you have already registered for, what have you. But you get a point every time you log in. So you get points. The points will tally up, and it's going to lead to a lot of things, which we'll get into once the site is available. So I'm making this site as fun as possible, social. It's going to be a site that a lot of people are going to want to go on once they know about it. I'm going to spend a massive amount of money on promotion for the site and to get the site out there and get people to know that it exists. Once the apps launch, you guys will be on it. As I said, we got through the issues with Apple and everything. All that's going to be taken care of. So yeah, this is the whole reason for Merkabah Academy. And once it's out there and more people, are onto it and know about it, then, it'll do good. I'm expecting it to do really good with promotion and everything. And part of it is they really want you to pay for promotion. If you post anything, you can see you have the option to boost the post, to pay to get it seen or whatever like that. There's no reason to do that unless you're selling something. They have the algorithm looking for keywords and links or what have you to make it so your links or your posts are not seen unless you're paying for it. So yeah, we got to deal with all that. But thank you guys again for helping us test the site. It's going to be up and down here and there until completion, just to test parts of the site. So, if you're not registered on Merkabah Academy, you need to take care of that and be registered and understand, I'm shadow banned. Make sure you guys are checking your emails because that's being shadow banned as well. People are getting emails way late or not at all. Make sure you guys are on Instagram. You got to check the actual page to see if I posted something. I post a lot. Whenever it's a new video, I post it in my story. So, to keep up, you can't rely on the bell and all that stuff to give you notifications. It's just not happening, So make sure you guys go on to YouTube to check for new videos. Make sure you guys are going on Instagram to check for new videos. Also, Merkabah Academy, just to check and see what's going on. I always get emails and questions from people, but that's basically what it is. If you're not seeing the new videos that was dropped, that's part of the reason. So that's the whole point of me putting up Merkabah Academy, to get rid of all this. When the app drop, you will get a notification for new videos or new anything. So yeah, a lot to get into with that, but let's get into this video. So now, I told you I'll keep you guys up to date with reparations, and there's a lot going on with that as usual. So a lot of you guys hit me up about SB 490. Stephen Bradford's, the senator in California, his whole proposal to just push forward with the whole situation. And, they're trying to get together like whole councils and organizations to basically, handle this thing, because, you got to think about it. They want to put a lot in play as far as identifying who is the descendants of chattel slavery and what have you, just putting together organizations and, just programs that's going to, distribute the money, help people get educations, whole thing having to do with banks giving out loans for businesses. It's a whole plethora of things that they're trying to put in place for this thing. And it's getting traction, and you got a state senator pushing it, and a lot of other people on board backing it. It's going to probably happen first in California as far as on a major level. And they're expecting a lot of the other states to follow after that. But it's a lot going on with it, as well as you can see a lot of other countries is pushing forward in the news recently, asking for an apology as well as reparations for slavery. And there's a lot going on with the whole thing, a lot of pushback. But, in this SB 490, it's breaking down. Stephen Bradford did it like perfectly. Every time he talks about it, the information he's been putting out on it, I couldn't do any better. He's doing so well in the way he's putting it out there and explaining why this needs to happen and the points behind it. And it's not nothing too complicated. It's just simple facts. Like, we were given something, we were promised something, and we have all these laws and things that's in effect to protect against fraud. If you got scammed on something, or, if it's a contract where you was promised something, and we're talking about the government's own word. The same type of situation happened with the Indians. Remember, so many treaties was broken. This is the government's word to the Native Americans. So many treaties was broken, and laws are broken, their own laws that was put in place to help them and benefit them for what happened to them, and they just didn't do it. They didn't fulfill the promises. They broke treaties, and, it was a mess. And then later on, they finally realized, hey, this is not going to go away. The people are protesting and what have you. We got to do the right thing. And you guys remember, I talked about this in previous video. What they basically did was they didn't want to give them the money. They didn't want to give them tax exempt status or the land or what have you. So what they did was made it so if anybody could come forward and claim to be a part of certain recognized Indian tribes, they could benefit from this land. So they did that so a lot of white people can come and act like they was a part of Native American tribes and claim the land. So they would rather these white people claim the land than the Native Americans claim the land. So now you have a bunch of white folks walking around saying they're Native Americans. But this happened, and it's the same type of situation where, hey, they got rectified and tax exempt status or what have you. And ours is a much more well-documented, well-known situation, far worse, especially when you take into account that we are the Native Americans and we were here before the so-called Native Americans, and that's been proven. So when you look at that, and just the fact that everything that was promised to us by this government, by Lincoln, was destroyed, it was sabotaged on purpose. We didn't get 40 acres in the mule, we didn't get land, we didn't get anything to really help us flourish out of slavery, something that was so traumatic. And you talking about people who can't read or write, and people who have no idea what to do with money, and going to go fight a war and then getting these payments and money and stuff like that. What happened with the old Freedman's trust and bank, when they wanted to put it out there before Lincoln signed it, it was basically for slaves, for the military, the freed slaves, and the people who fought in the Civil War was for those guys returning from war, guys who was bounty hunters. A lot of black bounty hunters out there, believe it or not. They had money, and they just had nowhere to put the money. Not to mention the black people who wasn't slaves in the North who had money, and it was just like, where are they going to put this money at? Because there was no bank, they could really trust to put this money in, especially, the free slaves and the soldiers who fought. They had a lot of money. So they needed somewhere to put this money. And that was the whole purpose for the Freedmen's Trust and Bank to be developed. Once slavery was abolished and Lincoln, signed it into law, it was supposed to be protected. It had a charter, which that was the problem. And it needed a charter for something that should have been, forever, like the Federal Reserve. And, racism wasn't just going to disappear. So it needed to have a longer charter and better members protecting the bank and the people's money. So this is the kind of stuff that Stephen Bradford is talking about in this SB 490, which is basically going to be the Freedman Affairs Agency that's going to oversee this whole thing in California. It's going to be the start of something. They hope to be nationwide, but, using the whole name Freedmen's and understanding that's just going back to Lincoln and the abolishment of slavery and what was promised. Freedmen's Bank was supposed to be something huge, for black people. And, we bought in. So many black people bought in. You had, over 100,000 black businesses and just regular people who put their money in Freedmen's Bank. So they put in, over $57 million in Freedmen's Bank, which that equivalent to today will be about $115 billion that they put into that bank. But the charter was changed, and they basically allowed the people who was running the bank to make, I talked about this in the previous video, but they allowed these people to make investments using the money in Freedmen's Bank that was supposed to benefit the people, and it didn't. So they used people's money to make all kinds of bad investments. And eventually it led to a run on the bank. And, the bank closed in, it was 1874. And that was it. We demolished it in 1899. And then we had the new Treasury Annex built there in 1919. The Treasury Annex basically replaced Freedmen's Bank. And it was there, still there to this day. And it was in 2016 that Jacob J. Lew changed the name to the Freedmen's Bank Building, to basically commemorate 150 years later where, we had the Freedmen's Bank there. So they're basically admitting, when they did this whole thing, why would you change the name to Freedmen's Bank? It's because they understood what happened on that spot and what happened to, black people being robbed out of their money. So that's basically an admission by this government that we were done wrong. And, we're going to change the name to kind of make up for it, which that's not enough. How about, putting out some of that money instead, which is what this whole thing is about. So these are some of the things that's outlined, as well as just the simple fact that slavery basically destroyed our future, and it gave rise to systemic racism. And systemic racism is the reason why we are where we are today. I mean, it's not no coincidence that we can look back and see that what slavery's done to black people, and then look today and see that we're still at the bottom economically when we have done so much to build this country and put this country in the position that it's in, not to mention fight for its freedom, what have you. So it's so much outlined in the bills that I don't think too many people can disagree with. And anybody who does disagree with it is straight racist. I don't care what type of economic nonsense they want to make up to put on this to try to justify not putting out that money when we have put out so much more money and so many things been passed to put out money to bullshit. Plain and simple. I mean, these people spending billions of dollars for freaking football stadiums, one, even though I know a lot of that is private money, but the states do put in billions and hundreds of millions of dollars to make this happen. That's a government level. And not to mention the billions of dollars that this government gives out to other countries in foreign aid. And as I talked about before, it's something that just needs to be done economically, because giving that money out is going to be a massive boost to the economy where everybody's going to eat off of it, just putting this money out to the people who spend money the most. And then now, and this is the main thing I like about Stephen Bradford's plan, because it's not just money they're trying to do. They're trying to put other programs in place, not to just give you money, but to also make sure there's money there for business loans, education, to be in major positions in business, as well as, even down to childcare and just medical bills or what have you, so much more stuff. So, of course, it's going to be brought up, as I talked about, that if you give out all this money, what's going to happen? We're just going to spend it and be broke and complaining, later on. a lot of people need their education on what to do with their money, and that needs to be put out there. So what they need to do, or what they're trying to do in essence, is basically the same thing that happened with the PPP and PUA situation with the money being put out. And it makes sense that they did that, because a lot of people, what they're going to have to do is jump online and fill out a lot of information to get this money. But you're going to need agencies to process all this information. You can't, leave it down to one. And the good thing about this whole thing is they're putting things in place to protect the money, to protect the situation if it does happen. I mean, you go back to what happened with the Freedman's Bank. That's one of the reasons why he's mentioning this, because, we're a lot smarter now, of course, but, as far as finances. But a lot of people didn't know. A lot of those soldiers had no clue what to do with the money, how to invest it. They were being tricked out of the money. Again, there was a charter put in place that allowed these bankers to invest the money outside of the understanding or, knowledge of the people whose money it was. I mean, they didn't have to tell them anything. Just, we're going to invest the money to make the money. And they made bad investments on purpose. So it's going to be protected. And this whole situation is going to be made in a way to where, people who get the money is not only going to get the money, but get help as far as keeping it, and have things in place to where what you would use that money for is already there, and the money could just be there. Again, this whole thing is not just about reparations. It's about building generational wealth. And that's one of the things I like that's being put out there and said about the whole situation. We don't want to just Band-Aid it, put a Band-Aid on it and, leave it there. It's a big deal about what happened. And we need to put everything aside and dwell on this situation and see how much, the ramifications have been since slavery that led us to where we are today, to where we are basically being used and have been used since then. As I always point out, I mean, everything's being done off our back. The whole entertainment industry wouldn't be what it is without Black folks. And we don't own it. We don't have a majority stake in it when so much of it is from us. We made cool. So to have that kind of influence on just the entertainment industry, as a whole, and to reap very little benefits from it is, telltale of slavery. So it's just so much to look into that they're looking into, that I appreciate them touching on with this whole situation and putting things in place to basically protect, what could possibly be. This is still all on the table. This is very much being looked at. I don't trust nothing. I'm just giving you guys the information on it because they can make this a big deal and everybody jumps on it and we get it to the point where it just needs to be voted on and they say no. And it causes a huge panic or riots or what have you. So we don't know what it's going to lead to. But there's no way anybody, as I said, can look at what's being put out there as far as the reason for this reparations and say no. You gave the money for defense where it wasn't used for defense. We give away billions of dollars a year to bullshit stuff that doesn't help the American people. This is something that will actually benefit everybody and actually help the economy. I always talk about, living in Sweden for over 6 years and being there and seeing how that economy works where there is no poor people. You can't be poor if you're a citizen. There's always money available. There's stuff there to help you. The economy just works to where everything is there for the people. Free college, paying bills every 3 months. It's real rehabilitation with the prison system, and you actually get paid while you're in prison over there because they realize that, hey, you've been in prison for years. When you get out, you're going to need some money. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to look into the whole situation. I'm just glad seeing people like Stephen Bradford and other people who have argued so well for this case as far as putting the things out there to where it needs to be said, rather than being real argumentative about the whole situation and just saying, hey, y'all enslaved us and that's it. It's so much you can break down economically that you can point to and just say, because of this, not just slavery, but after slavery. And it's crazy. I mean, you can't get hundreds of years of free labor from a people and then, continue to use them and still not give them anything when we look and see you doing the same thing or doing other things to people and then you paying them money and giving away money and just doing all this stuff. Continue to treat us like crap, kill us, don't pass anything to protect us, and continue to see so much negativity against Black people on and on and on for years, and we get nothing still to this day. I mean, it has to stop at some point. This is the best way to end all that. So yeah, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch. Make sure you guys take advantage of this sale. Super low. It's not going to last for long. I'm just doing it. People ask for it. Here it is. Take advantage of the sale. Grab the Never Pay Again membership. It's going to be a lot more once the site launches, which is going to be pretty soon. So again, it's going to be back and forth as far as online, offline. You'll see changes every step of the way. And we're going to need you guys to help us test out the site. So thanks to everybody who has been doing that. And yeah, jump on there, take the test. It's down right now, but it'll be up shortly, probably tomorrow, Sunday. You'll see it come in and out. But if you're on there, take the test, play the games, test the site out. If you have any issues, just send us an email. Send me an email at the Merkabah@gmail.com, and we'll fix any issues you may have, or it could just be because we're working on the site. But give us a holler or hit us up if there's any issues. But yeah, thank you guys for taking the time to watch. See you next video.